personally, might be a hot take, but I think 9 to 5 is the most easy thing to do.
I drove 6 hours for this, as you know. For those watching right now or listening, right next to me is TikTok content creator and social media influencer, in my opinion, Charlie Caruso, ekkovision content creator, and he has been in the TikTok game since I'd say around COVID, right?
Yeah.
And Charlie, I just want to start off with and let the viewers and listeners know that I mean, we've known each other since elementary school at Homestead Elementary here in Aurora, Illinois. And in journalism school, or at least at Nebraska, they always emphasize how you should not interview family and friends. And I always like disregarded that because I'm like, like I don't understand that, so I'm just gonna interview them anyway. But fast forward to now, I think I understand, and the reason why is because when I was trying to think of these questions, it's just hard being like close friends with you, and I already know everything, a lot about you, but and just trying to find questions to ask. This is where I have to play both or balance being one of your close friends as well as being like an interviewer who has never met you before. So that's gonna be a lot of fun to go throughout with this podcast, and but I believe we're gonna have a great conversation and we're gonna get a lot out of each other. So once again, I'm very honored to start off this episode with you, and you are my first ever out of Nebraska podcast episode. So
The 630.
yeah, exactly that. So for those listening, as I said before, Charlie is not from Nebraska. He's born and raised from Illinois, and played football at Upper Iowa, obviously in Iowa, and we'll talk more about that. But he's going to be this is the first episode of what I would like to call the outside Nebraska section of this podcast. So I thought I could bring you on because I thought it was funny when like I would talk to my fraternity brothers and college mates and high school friends, and like, yeah, not a fraternity brother. I have a really close childhood friend from Illinois who's like really viral on TikTok. He talks about like lifting and reacts to all these body lifters, and they're like, yeah, what's his name? And I'm like, Charlie Caruso. They're like, oh my gosh, like I've seen on my For You page all the time. So you're definitely hitting Nebraska on Nebraska's FYP. So I thought that was really interesting. It's kind of cool how how technology is and how the internet works nowadays. So I thought, you know what? I think you have a really interesting story, and some people would like to hear about it, especially people in Nebraska. So once again, I just want to thank you for allowing this to happen. And driving, back to my hometown is an honor. It gives me a good excuse to check out everything from my childhood, and I'm happy this was able to all work out.
Yes, it's awesome. Super excited to be back.
So
we weren't going to do this in Illinois, but
no, yeah,
things changed.
We should share. Originally, we were going to do this in Des Moines, Iowa, where Charlie was living at now.
Yeah.
And then, long story short, he called me last week and he's like, yo, I would love to see my parents and just see home again. So he asked me if I can go back to Aurora. And I was like, dude, of course. He gives me a great excuse. I think I practically already said that. But originally, we were supposed to do this in Des Moines. So not and then Charlie is not related, has nothing in common with Nebraska. You played at Wayne State. Against Wayne State my freshman year. My buddy Trevor and I went there, and I'm not going to get too much into that because we know the result of what happened, but it was a good time seeing you then. But Charlie, I just want to start off with going about your childhood. Like, obviously, everyone knows you as the TikToker, the guy who reacts to these lifting videos, or sometimes even go outside the fitness world and just react to like streamers and all that jazz. So I want to talk about stuff before that. So what was growing up like in Aurora for you? I may know the answer, obviously, but for the viewers listening, they would probably like to hear a little bit more about you outside of social media.
Yeah, so, growing up was awesome, fun. I was super athletic. I always was in a sport my entire childhood. Couldn't ever think of myself on weekends not doing a sport, and kind of just led into something that I love. Was pretty good in high school. Played college football, and then I actually ended up graduating in only 3 years. And for people who knew me in high school, I was not a brain rat, not a class rat. But I got to college and kind of changed things around. graduated in 3 years with a business degree. Got out of there and just started working. Was flying to Boynton, Virginia. So I was doing a 9 to 5 for a big Fortune 500 company, and literally 2 months ago, just stepped away from that. A little nerve wracking jump, but it's been nothing but fun and craziness. So my childhood was no different than probably a lot of people around here in Aurora. Just always outside, played a lot of video games, but had a lot of friends here, so it's been awesome.
So as you said in the very beginning, sports has always been a big part of your life. So can you hit on those sports? I know the answer once again, but again, for
Yeah.
people listening.
Yeah, so I played when I was really young. I played pretty much everything, but then I got super serious into travel sports. Travel baseball and travel football were the top two. I was playing 70 games of baseball when I was in 6th grade, and then I was traveling around the country for football, and probably a lot of money was spent on me, but I think it eventually worked out with college. But played, baseball and football were the main two ones that got pretty good at.
And football was your best sport, but I always wanted to know, like, why did you choose baseball? Or no, my bad. Why did you choose football over baseball? Because you're pretty good at both sports.
Yeah. So was pretty good in 8th grade. Fortunately, I had a pretty bad slump in 8th grade and just kind of stepped away from it for a bit. Ended up coming back, playing some summer ball for high school. Did pretty good, but I just could never commit. I just had like this weird feeling that I just didn't want to step into the uncomfort zone, unfortunately. Just like I did track. Same thing. Did track for a bit. And then it all ended up coming down to working out. I just wanted to work out after school. I didn't want to do track, and I didn't want to play baseball because I knew that was going to take away from working out, the thing that I have always loved, literally since pretty much the start of high school. And I knew football, that would help me a lot in football, which it did. So that's eventually why I just decided to just not do baseball in high school. It was fun when I was growing up, but I just wanted to focus on other things.
So you brought up how you found your passion in lifting your freshman year, or going to your freshman year of high school. What do you think was that spark that gave you that feeling, okay, like I'm going to push myself every day lifting? Like where did you just find your passion for lifting?
Honestly, I just really found it from YouTube and, coaches in high school. But I just felt when I went to the gym, just kind of got away from everything. Most of the time I was working out alone, headphones in. Sometimes I bring, buddies, obviously. We all worked out pretty much together sometimes. But it was just one of those things where it was just like that gateway where I just get away from everything. School was obviously, again, not my thing. So that was something I was really good at, enjoyed it, really enjoyed the process. I really liked seeing that, progression over time. Something like you can physically see was just, I got addicted to it.
Do you prefer working out alone still?
I do. I sometimes I try to work out with people, but I'm someone who doesn't want to talk when I lift. I know it sounds weird, but I just like to get in there, do my thing, kind of get out. Obviously, sometimes I talk to people come up, but most of the time I just like focusing on myself, kind of letting my phone, stay in my backpack and just get some work in, get in and out.
What's your recovery like currently?
My recovery is pretty poor. I'll be pretty honest. Since college has been done, I've been pretty bad with it, honestly. I take a rest day once a week, try to, but I definitely don't do anything extraordinary. I honestly really don't even warm up. So it's pretty bad, actually. I'll be totally honest with that.
Do you think you'll have to actually start warming up the older you get?
Oh, yeah. I've had some little, minor problems here and try to get them fixed. But definitely once we're 23 now, I think 25, we'll probably have to start warming up here, stretching, just getting flexible. But I also don't think I'll lift as heavy as I do my whole life.
You said earlier during this episode that you used to watch YouTube videos. Would these be just YouTubers lifting and vlogging about that? And if so, which YouTubers?
So the YouTuber that I watched for specifically lifting, I remember where I was. It was freshman year, that 15-minute block that we'd sit in for before lunch. Christian Guzman, he's the owner of Alpha Land, all that. Actually, just went to Alpha Land a month ago. It was pretty crazy. Been watching him forever. I met him when I was 15, so it's been awesome. But he really, like, that spark just, like, boom. He would do some things with summer shredding. He would just, like, show, like, his transformation and do a show, and it just got me hooked. He would go into depth on how to lift, good form, and he also, was growing a business at the same time. And it just, my entrepreneur, just, like, brain, just, I always knew something was going to happen. So
What was it like meeting Christian in person?
it was good. I mean, that was 8 years ago. So when I went, he wasn't there at that time, so I couldn't run into him. But that was pretty awesome. It was a pretty quick meet because we were sitting there for like 7 hours, and it just kind of got out of hand. But they always say some people say don't meet your idols, but I think it, again, put a spark into me, brought me to that next level. It was awesome.
And I thought did you not meet him again?
I didn't meet him in Houston. I met another guy named Max Tuning, who was he's good friends with him. Also grew another business with a candy company, did stuff with fitness. But again, I also met him the same time I met Christian. So it's pretty awesome.
Are there any other YouTubers besides Christian you'd watch?
Oh man, I mean, from all categories. I mean, Vanos, my Roman Atwood. I watch a lot of YouTube. I still do. I don't even watch TV. Like, I'm not a TV person at all. As my girlfriend would know, I eat food. I put my phone in front of me. I'm an iPad kid. For sure, I will watch YouTube. I can't even really watch TV because I love YouTube.
Have you ever thought about being a YouTuber, like back in middle or high school?
Yeah, so I would post on YouTube here or there. It wasn't as serious. I didn't have a camera in high school. I tried. I probably should have tried a little bit harder, showed progression. But, again, it was one of those things. I just like to go to the gym, and I kind of just like to get away, put everything away, not even have a phone out. So I kind of just fell into that hole, which I wish I did because it would be awesome to look at. I still have some stuff, and, like, obviously college, I have some stuff. But, like, when we were in the weight room in college, couldn't really have your phone.
So, like, when you were growing up, did your style of lifting change at all? Like, from high school all the way to college?
You repeat that question?
No, yeah, I know, absolutely. So growing up, like, you start off at high school, you were taught, like, okay, here's the proper way to lift, here's the proper way to stretch, and then, like, you kind of, like, do your own thing eventually from, like your freshman and senior year of high school. I bet you had to change.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to college, was that still the same, or did you learn more, more like hacks or techniques in lifting that your football coaches showed you, or strength and conditioning coaches in college showed you? Like, that's just, does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely learned a lot from high school to college because we actually had, strength and conditioning coach only in college. So that really worked out. And in high school, they were football coaches, but at the same time, they didn't really know what they were doing. They were kind of just probably looking up something on YouTube or some internet, just here's a workout, just do this. So even in high school, I would, do football lifts, and then I'd go, later in the day to crunch. And I was one of the guys that the coaches would always say, oh, don't go to crunch after, but I'd always do that. But from going from high school to college was definitely a transition, but I think I was advanced more than a lot of those guys because it was a D2 school. I think a lot of those guys, when you go from D2 to D1, it's more like the D2 guys are kind of like the best guys, I guess, on the team, but like less than All-State. It's kind of just in between. And I think they were just better at the sport, but they weren't physically better. But I think I was actually opposite. I was physically better, and in the gym it really helped. And when I went to college, those guys were all pretty impressed. I think was kind of already working out with the big guys because I went in there. That was the thing I knew I was always pretty good at. So helped me a lot.
Can you share just a quick glimpse of, because you played college football for 3 years and then graduated?
Yeah.
Can you share a quick glimpse of that 3 years?
Yeah,
those 3 years.
Yeah. So 2019 we graduated high school. Went there 2020. I think 2019 we went there. So we graduated in 2019. Got there summer of 2019. Came in there as a true freshman. I was like 230, 6 foot. Wasn't sure if I was gonna play. Was told I had a shot. Ended up traveling the first game of the year. I didn't actually dress. I actually ended up staying in the coaching box the first game in Augustana in South Dakota, and starting middle linebacker gets hurt, and I end up actually foregoing my red shirt, and I jumped into the 4th game of the year and kind of just took off from there. Had that starting position ever since. Then the next year, COVID happened. It was a very weird year. We were practicing against each other. Offense hated the defense. Defense hated the offense. But I had some of the best coaches I've ever had in my life my sophomore year. And then, so we didn't actually end up having a season. Super weird. School was weird. Everything was weird about that. And I actually didn't have a freshman year spring ball because COVID happened that March. So I didn't have a spring ball ever, actually, my entire college career, technically, postseason. And then my junior year, we had a season. We weren't very good, but I left. All the guys were amazing, even though we weren't very good. And then I ended up just deciding that it was time to just let what I loved go, because I had a coach my sophomore year. He said, do you like the sport? Do you love the sport? Do you live the sport? And at that time, I lived it, but I knew I didn't live it anymore my junior year after that. And it was one of those things I couldn't put myself out there and be on that field with teammates and kind of fake it. I wanted to be that best guy, and I knew I wasn't going to put all that effort in anymore, and I just decided to step away.
What was it that made you not want to put in that effort anymore? Was it just exhaustion after playing since a kid, or some other reason?
I had some injuries. I mean, nothing big. My shoulder would not want to stay in my junior year of college at all. I dislocated my shoulder my senior year of high school, and then my junior year it really started. I mean, every game it seemed like it was popping out, and I'd get it popped back in and go back in. But had a coach my junior year. If any Upper Iowa boys are watching, you'll know. But just kind of unfortunately ruined the sport to a certain extent. Wasn't the best coach for me personally. I had a really amazing coach, like I said, my sophomore year, and it went from basically 100 to 0, and that made me decide to walk away, unfortunately.
So, after graduating college, you decided to go. Well, okay, I'm going to backtrack because you started posting TikToks during COVID. So
Yeah,
you're
you're right.
still, so you're a college athlete and posting on TikTok consistently. Where did that passion of just editing videos and posting content come from?
Yeah, I mean, TikTok, it was just such a joke at first with all of our buddies. And, but I knew it was something that I always wanted to do. I didn't really take it serious at all. In college, I, kind of casually grew it here and there. It was just kind of, funny things. And I just kind of kept it on. And then I, graduated college and, started to actually, that summer of, 2022, 2020, or 2023, it was going pretty good. I was growing actually decent. Started traveling for work. Went straight cold turkey, and I mean the story kind of goes from there.
So, from there, ekkovision hit you up. So how did that all go down?
Yeah. So again, I went cold turkey, and then I worked for a company, came back, and ended up moving to Iowa, and saw some traction before that, but I just had this weird feeling. I was like, kind of in the middle of nowhere, just kind of put all your eggs in one basket and just start grinding. So I'd go to work, come back, make videos, repeat. I'd come back to Chicago, repeat. Kind of blew up quick, pretty awesome. And then the owner, would send me some pre-workouts here and there, and I just kind of was like, I'm not really sure if I really want to throw myself fully into this yet. And then it kind of just, I was like, I knew it was right place, right time, and ended up actually making a video of people to tag them, and it kind of just worked out, and obviously they saw it, and I kind of just got a shot, and I just took that shot and ran with it.
How has working for ekkovision been for you so far?
It's been awesome. Been flying out to Houston often, a lot. Was just there a month ago, and it was busy. I think we were out there for 5 days. It was busy work, but it's something I've always wanted to do.
So, I guess since I'm not in the fitness community content world, what is it like seeing all these other people with like-minded brains like you when it comes to lifting and just getting motivated and getting after it?
Yeah, honestly, it makes me feel a little more in the comfort zone. And honestly, just it makes me realize that like anybody can do it. And the sphere in the world, not the sphere, but just like the fitness sphere in the world is actually way smaller than you realize. You know, you can connect with a lot of people. You just got to put yourself out there. I did not realize how small the fitness industry really is, and you can pretty much reach anybody pretty easily, and that's why social media is so crazy.
What big TikTokers that would be recognizable are in ekkovision or part of ekkovision?
Yeah, TNF, Baj, obviously Baxter, rest in peace. But those were the top three guys. TNF, that guy was always on my For You page. I mean, just would not leave my For You page. And even the owner, M, I mean, before he lost his old account, but I mean, his, lives would always be on my For You page.
So would you see like their posts even before ekkovision reached out to you?
Oh,
Or,
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
How about currently? Because unfortunately, some of them passed away, as you just brought
Yeah.
up.
It's pretty much, I mean, TNF still, I mean, he makes some pretty informative content. Sometimes he doesn't. Look at TNF's reposts. He's got some pretty funny stuff. But um, a TikTok shop has been pretty crazy for ekkovision. It's pretty open knowledge, like over 30 million in 2 months or 2 years. And it's been a growing company, 50,000 square foot warehouse. It's absolutely crazy that I get to be part of that and just, go in the warehouse and take some clothes. And it's just so casual now.
So what are you doing currently? Are you just posting videos and just staying in touch with M then?
Yeah. And it's just kind of have this routine of just posting 2-3 times a week or 2-3 times a day. So it gets a little bit crazy. Obviously it's not the hardest thing to do. But I actually think it can be, a little stressful here and there. Trying to branch out to obviously YouTube, do all that long form stuff. I've been posting short forms on reels and shorts, but TikTok has been game changer, life changer, all that.
Kind of go through your daily routine. You kind of just explained it how you just make videos like day by day, but when you're not making videos, what are you doing?
Yeah. So, I mean, a day for me, pretty much wake up, make breakfast, work out, and then just kind of brainstorm things. Hopefully something's brainstormed before that, but try to bang those 2-3 videos out. It's usually around 10 till around 4 o'clock. And I've been really trying to work on disconnecting, because disconnecting has been really good for me. I find myself sometimes just like scrolling just to find ideas. And sometimes that stuff can be pretty brain rotty, and you kind of can throw yourself into a hole that kind of gets too deep. So been trying to work on disconnecting and like fishing, doing all that good stuff. But I try not to do it all night because I can because I love it. I love editing. So I can really kind of throw myself in there and just not even think about the hours that go by.
What makes you love editing so much?
Always loved it. I don't know why. I think it's just that YouTube stuff, but some buddies back in high school, we'd shoot some videos and just always loved Sony Vegas, and just like that final product. That final product is pretty addicting, especially if it's a good final product. Posting that, I just love that part.
So, as you said, you're an iPad kid. It sounds like you always have been an iPad kid. So, okay, you already answered that. So, like the Casey Neistat and like the David Dobrik's, like those vlogs, and now fast forward to now, you have Sam Solik and other people always posting like their fitness vlogs, like what their workouts are, and they share like funny thoughts or just having a conversation with the audience. I don't think you have really ever done that. Have you ever thought about doing that?
Yeah, I was doing it a little bit when I was prepping 2 years ago. I'd put out probably a video a week. I definitely want to get into that long form look. I don't know what that look looks like, if it's more informative or more just like kind of skit ran, I guess you could say. But I definitely do want to get into that because, again, I love editing. I'd love to just, put those pieces together from videos. Not really sure. I got to do some whole visual board just to see what that looks like. But I know Casey Neistat. I know David Dobrik. Those vlogs are, super chopped up and thrown into a small thing to make a great final product. So that's what I want to do for sure.
Would you, since you love editing so much, would you do all that on your own or would you hire someone?
Yeah, so I get people quite a bit to come and ask me if I want to have an editor, and every time I just say no. I say, your stuff looks really good, but I just love this. And if I didn't edit, I wouldn't do it. That's the thing that most people don't realize. And I always tell people, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't really, do all this if I didn't edit. Like I'm totally honest with that. And even if the fitness, space just kind of disappeared, I would just go jump into something else and go edit it. That's what I love.
I'm going to ask for some advice for myself and for the podcast. So I hate staring at a screen for a long, very long amount of time, as you probably know. I can't sit still, like even at a laptop when I'm doing homework or just watching like a YouTube video. I'll just end up going on my phone still. And how do you discipline yourself with just staring at a screen for so long, or has it just become so repetitive that you can get done with like a TikTok in like 30 minutes? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's pretty easy for me now, I would say. I mean, if I'm thinking of something, I really just can't think of something, maybe I'll go on my phone or not. But once I get into that recording, I mean, it goes from recording to straight to editing to posting. So it's not really, once I get the recording done, I'm good. It's more like the story of like what I'm trying to post. I can have some moments where I'm just like, I cannot think of something, or I'm just like scrolling my phone, taking a second. But once I'm editing, I'm pretty good. My editing doesn't take too long. But again, I like that final product. I think it's just more that building up to that actual product, or that story that can be difficult.
So it sounds like your hardest thing is just brainstorming.
Yeah.
Um, for that, you said you will like check other people's TikToks and just see what they do.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard because I don't want to say you're copying them, but like you take their idea and you make your own. I understand that, and people can get away with that. Do you view that as stealing someone's idea, or like just kind of like borrowing it and then mixing it up on your own?
Yeah. So, I mean, for most things, what I really try to do is I try to take people from outside of the industry and kind of turn into fitness. But you will realize, especially the fitness industry, it is all rinse and repeat. It's all rinse and recycle. And even if I'm really not, I guess if I'm just kind of taking someone's idea, it's, for me personally, I don't think it's really that creative. I'm just trying to learn the editing portion of it. That's why I'm saying like I love editing. That's more important to me, honestly, than just like the fitness portion. I just kind of like both, and it just kind of combines into one. But I promise you, there's a lot of people who probably copy and stuff like that. But for me personally, it's more just like that learning for like just the editing portion. But I do think a lot of people just copy, especially in the fitness industry. I don't know about any industry, but I've seen a lot of just rinse and repeat. This one type of personality comes, and then they're kind of gone, and then kind of the same thing person comes. So definitely in the fitness industry, that happens.
Has anyone ever DM'd you saying like, "Oh, you stole this man's idea," or "You stole my idea"? Like, what the heck, dude? Has that ever happened yet?
I don't think so, honestly. Maybe actually, I mean, yeah, there's definitely some people who like tag and be like, "Oh, like this was someone's idea, whatever." But I have people same, or they just fully take my stuff and just like repost it or just like chop my face out and stuff. But I don't really care. It's just kind of, it's social media. Most people aren't even their real selves on social media, so I don't really overthink it.
That's gonna be like the next topic I wanted to get into is like how fake the internet can be, and how like in front of a camera you're just totally a different person. But like with you, do you feel like you are yourself when you are talking in front of a camera, sharing and spreading this content?
No, because most people probably would know that in my videos I'm super hyped up, but I was watching even like ekkovision's old videos, or not old videos, but videos I was posted in, like some skits that we did or whatever, and I was like, I watched them back, I was like, wow, I'm pretty monotone when it comes to just like normal life. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, I perk up and make my videos, that's just how that works. That's how most people work. There's some people that I know that can just be super monotone with their videos and be all right. But for probably 99.9% of their videos, they're fake to an extent. Is the stuff that I'm saying fake? No, but definitely put some emotion into it.
Who would you say? I kind of want to go back to how you said you prefer working out alone. If you could pick like any bodybuilder or fitness influencer to work out with you for a week, who would you pick in their prime?
That's a good question. I want to say just Christian Guzman, just because business and lifting, but just pure bodybuilding, probably just be like a Dorian Yates, probably. He's a really good bodybuilder, and he would, he'd be in and out of the gym, but he would have some pretty intense lifts. So I think that'd be pretty awesome.
So have you like watched like old videos with like Ronnie Coleman and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then fast forward to now you have like C-Bum.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think anything has changed in like that like Olympia world?
I do, and it's not just fitness; it's everything. Just I think it correlates to like UFC and everything. I think each of these sports, unlike football and NBA, where these guys are like fully under contract or have massive contracts, they're starting to create a personality or brand for themselves outside of the actual sport. So like CBum, I mean, bodybuilding, pre-workout, all that stuff. Has a YouTube channel. Everything is just like the UFC fighters. Every UFC fighter now has a channel. Even golfers now have channels. It's just I think it's this world that we live in now that people are just starting to create their own brands, and it's a very easy way to make brands. So kind of forgot the question, but yeah. Anyways, I think that's where everything's leading to. Everyone's trying to create their own brand through their own personality on social media. It's very easy to do. It's very smart.
What's your gym apparel besides ekkovision, or what did you wear before ekkovision?
Literally, I mean, I threw some, Gymshark, Alpha Elite stuff in there. Not a lot. Literally, it means pretty much kind of whatever I had. Shorts, or I never wore shorts to the gym. It's just sweatpants tucked in with the socks and a sweatshirt. Always.
Always want to ask you about that. You always tuck in your socks and your sweatpants, and I know wrestlers do that.
Yeah.
I think I have an idea why people do that, specifically wrestlers, but why do you do that?
I think I want to say I started doing it senior year of high school, but I'm pretty well, I started doing for like football purposes when I was wearing, it was cold when it get to like later on in the year, and I'd have long pants on and I didn't want them getting dirty. That was one reason. But honestly, I think when I got to Iowa, everybody in Iowa does it. It is such an Iowa thing to do, especially because there's a lot of wrestlers or a lot of good wrestlers. Everybody in Iowa, especially my football team, would do it. It's just natural. There's really no useful thing for it unless you had like super baggy pants. This honestly has no use. Just I've always done it now.
You said, did you do that during high school too?
I think I did it like for football, like when it got cold season. That's about it.
I mean, I just noticed you just doing that now, and even yesterday when you were working out Lifetime with your uncle. And speaking about working out with your uncle is working out or consistently. He's preparing for his lifting competition. And has he been an inspiration kind of towards you or to you with lifting and all that?
Honestly, he didn't really work out. He kind of paused for a while. He worked out in high school, but honestly, no. I feel like he didn't. I think I started working out like consistently before even he did, to be honest. So it's been like good just to do workouts with him. But I think I started working out before him, technically.
So you might have inspired him?
Maybe. I've never asked him.
That is a question that you should ask him for sure, though.
Yeah.
Because your uncle, I mean, for those listening, Charlie over here posted a physique TikTok, or like July 6th. I'm just trying to think. No, yeah, July 5th, the day after the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And I was the camera guy. That's how I know. So, and then just meeting your uncle was such a really cool experience, and learning more about like how physique, like posing, like takes a lot of cardio and takes a lot of work, which I never ever understood. I thought it was just like the most simplest thing ever, but no, it gasses you up. So I guess, do you ever see yourself in a body show like that, like Mr. Olympia eventually?
Yeah, so I was prepping 2 years ago, ended up traveling for work, and it just didn't work out. It was like 5 weeks out. But I'm going to start doing a prep, I think, this December, start it, and then I'm probably going to do a natural OCB show and hopefully get the natural pro card in that. So that's pretty exciting. It's definitely not for everybody. It's hard, and not just on you, on the people around you for sure, because you kind of turn into this zombie who's just super dialed with everything, and you can't really do much. You could, but you're usually honestly in a bad mood. So hopefully this time around I can kind of realize that and get myself out of those scenarios. But it's definitely not for everybody. It's not easy, but it's super awesome to see yourself go through that. Gives you a lot of organization, and I love it.
What does OCB stand for?
Oh man, I honestly don't know. I just know that natural show, for a natural show compared to like a Mr. Olympia show, those guys are definitely not natural. But a natural show is, take a drug test, all that stuff. You even take a lie detector test. But that's what I'll do. on, and probably never get into all the NPC Olympia stuff. Never, probably.
Never.
I don't see myself doing it.
So what do you see yourself doing like in the next 10 years? Just
Oh man, I don't
That's-
even know
that's
what
a-
I'm eating for breakfast tomorrow. But long term, again, long form. Honestly, not sure. Just kind of taking it day by day, which is maybe not the best, but right now I just kind of locked into what I'm doing now. I guess it's going good.
was going from a 9 to 5 to doing social media, was that how hard of a change was that? Because it sounds kind of stressful, and you kind of told me this before we started this episode. You had to bet on yourself.
Yeah, for anybody who really wants to jump into it, I mean, for a whole over a year, I was doing both at the same time. You know, I was traveling from Iowa to Chicago, working in the city all day, come home, come down in this basement. I literally wouldn't see the sun. I mean, literally, I'd get home at 5, 6 o'clock, do my videos and go to bed and repeat, get up, go to the gym, work, do all that. Same repeat. But I really think it's a stress to people that if they really want to do it, you can have a job and do it at the same time 100%. I would never just jump into social media. I wanted to make sure that it was going to last, and I was having a pretty steady income, a good income, and then I decided. And even then, that consistent amount of money, even from a job that I was making a lot more on social media, was still like a big stepping point, you know, literally just a leap of faith, even though I know I was making way more on social media than a job. That just consistent thing that at the end of the day is really, I mean, it's consistent, but you could always get fired. But it was just like that weird leap of faith that was hard to do for sure.
I noticed this about you and a lot of other influencers or content creators in the fitness industry, and really any industry. They post YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, and TikToks. Why hasn't X been a big factor in that? That's what I've noticed. I don't know if you noticed the same thing too.
I think honestly, just because first off, the payout, I don't think they really pay. I think they are starting to pay now. I'm pretty sure because Mr. Beast posted, and I just don't think how that basis. I feel like that's more just like a blog style, or like blog style, like Reddit type. You don't really post your content on there, I guess. It would work out very well. I think they could, if they really made a good system, it'd be really good. Right now I just don't think they need to switch some things up, I think.
Do you think Elon Musk will find out, like, dang, I should probably find an idea or convince these TikTok influencers to post on Twitter soon?
I
Or
think so.
X?
I mean, they said they want to. If they can, if somehow they can make a deal with like YouTube and like put a YouTube video on and then like have the ads run through that, and like let's say you're just swiping, you want to, this Mr. Beast video, 8 minutes, just press play, boom. It doesn't actually take you out of the app, because right now it does take you out of the app, and Twitter's not going to want you to leave the app and end that session. They want you to stay in that app. So if somehow they can make a deal to not end the session, that would be great. I just don't see certain videos really doing well. It's like clips work. I just don't see many people jumping into that. And I don't know if I think it's just a different type of app.
I would like you, as a consumer of social media, rank your top 5 social media apps. So we got TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, X. I was going to say Twitter, but X is Twitter. I guess those main
You could do
4.
Reddit, I guess.
Yeah, I Reddit, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do those 5. Rank them in order, best to worst.
Best to worst, just like in a app form.
You know what? I'll change that to personal preference, like your personal preference.
For me, you got to go YouTube. YouTube is the king. It'll probably be the king forever. That app is literally automatically on all Android, Samsung phones. They pay very well. They work with Google AdSense, obviously. That is the best app for sure for, life-changing things, and just you can just make a living off of that. That's my personal preference. It's awesome. It's probably going to be, the future of everything. Everything's on YouTube now. Next, I'd go TikTok, honestly. I think the For You page algorithm is one of the smartest things. It's game changer. Instagram, Facebook wouldn't have copied them with their reels if it wasn't good. That's just simple. I would probably go personal preference. Honestly, I would probably go. I would go Instagram just cause, but honestly, I actually like Facebook more than Instagram now. I just kind of use it with family stuff, but then probably Reddit. But Reddit is something I honestly just don't use much. But there's actually a lot of informative stuff on there. But um, a lot of people can just hide behind a screen on that one for sure.
I kind of want to talk about streaming. So Kick, Twitch, Rumble, those are streaming has just grown. When I was a kid, when I was like in high school, like the only streamer I knew was Aiden Ross. I didn't know about Kai Cenat or any of these big streamers. And now there's like Sneeko, Neon, Jinxie, and yeah, they're not in the they're not in the fitness industry, but streaming has just grown. Do you know or think that the fitness world of content creation will streaming affected the fitness world and content creation? That's what I'm trying to ask.
I'm gonna say no, just because right off the bat, I just can't think of anything. But streaming has always been there. For me, someone like me, I was watching Call of Duty streams for I couldn't tell you 6th grade. I mean, streaming's been there. It's been prevalent, but now it's just taken to the next level. Obviously, I don't. There's really no much. There's not a lot of fitness streaming. I mean, there's guys who will put their phones up and even me go live in TikTok, but that's really not taken to that IRL level, I guess you could say. It's more just like answering comments and stuff like that. But I don't think so, honestly.
On the streaming topic, Aiden Ross reacted to your rating of his body physique,
Yeah.
and someone clipped it and posted it on TikTok. And and you knew about it or found out about it. So how did you react to that? How like the biggest streamer probably in the world currently reacted to that in just
Yeah.
one stream?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, social media is you can really reach whoever you want at the end of the day, really. I mean, even a small video. Someone like me, 500K followers, like I mean, I can scroll and I see plenty of people with, literally 0 likes, 0 comments. So you can only imagine, the people also they see a lot of stuff too. So I couldn't imagine, how many times or what my face or who I've been in front of, honestly, on their phone. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, that was cool. But there's been so many people I can't even name anymore. But that was pretty cool, I guess. But hopefully, meeting is next level. Meeting is like that connection's different, I guess.
Okay, so he also reacted to one of your
Yeah.
opinions and ratings of him. How did you react to Queso's reaction?
Again, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, all that stuff is just kind of a joke, I guess. I mean, even Queso stuff. I mean, everybody's stuff is pretty much jokes at the end of the day. It's not really real. Like, Queso really plays his role pretty good. Every time someone donates all of his stuff, I mean, that's super smart. Everyone's got their little thing, but that was pretty cool, I guess. I'm trying to think of if someone liked or reacted that really stood out, but I honestly can't, off the top of my head, think of anything. For me personally, I think someone who I met that I've been watching, like TNF, that was pretty cool. I try not to freak out. I didn't freak out, but just, we had a pretty solid conversation. And that's super important. I thought that was awesome. I was just kind of a random guy out of nowhere, and I was flown out by Echo and had a good conversation. That was cool, watching someone, over the phone. And that really made me realize that everyone's just a person. A lot of followers or no followers, everyone's a person at the end of the day. And I don't know. You shouldn't, for me, I don't think you should put people on pedestals because, again, we're all people at the end of the day. So I've really started to realize that.
As I said earlier, there's people in Nebraska that know who you are. What is it like going out in public and for having either little kids or college students or even young adults walking up to you asking you, like, hey, are you Charlie Caruso?
Yeah, it's cool. Most of the time they just say you're the guy from TikTok, but some people know my name. But it's cool. Like I said, the gym I get recognized a lot at the gym, but I recognize at Costco and Bass Pro. Like it's crazy. My girlfriend, I think it's more fun for her than me. But it's been crazy. It's so interesting. It's just, you never realize the people, you think it's just a number on the screen, which a lot of people say. I've heard that so many times, but there's real people behind the screen. You affect people, what you post, and it's absolutely crazy.
Has anyone ever specifically told you like, hey, like you did this TikTok and I agreed with you, or hey, I really like this TikTok?
Yeah, some people are just like, yeah, I like your content, which is crazy. So whatever I'm doing, I guess I'm doing something right.
Can you share me a single story of like I guess your favorite moment when someone walked up to you and asked you,
Yeah.
or if you don't feel comfortable sharing
No,
that?
yeah. Man, I'm trying to think of my first one, but I don't know. But I think the one at Costco was pretty funny. I actually for some reason, I had a the wrong, because at Costco you can't like use a Discover card or something, so it looked like my card was declining, and I think they were right behind me, and they're probably like, "Wow, this guy's like probably broke or something." And then they ended up coming up to us, and that was pretty cool. Um, but yeah, like the other day at Bass Pro, just some like probably eighth grade just came up. He's like, "You live from TikTok?" I was like, "Yeah." Took a picture, and that was kind of it. So it's pretty cool. I actually like taking pictures, but for me, it's like I try to have a good, honest, normal conversation. Some of the people like they get pretty nervous, and it's crazy, and I get it, but like I'm just a dude. Like I'm just a dude who posts and likes to post, so there's no reason to get nervous. But I try to like have an actual conversation before, not to make it super quick. I try to get to know them and have. Honestly, I kind of have a little script just so like 'cause sometimes they're super nervous and like they don't even know what to say, so I try to like make conversation because I think that matters a lot.
What's your favorite type of video content to make? Whether it's like reacting to this video or doing like these challenge videos. What are your favorite types of videos to
I
do?
think the challenges ones is I think those are fun. I really want to take those to the next level, do those with long form. I think that's going to be a real game changer. Those are super fun to edit. I think really those final products are so much fun, and I think like a vision board is so fun to put together for those. I really enjoy those. I think those are going to be pretty fun to do. Those just do so well now as well on YouTube and even short form. You can turn those into short form very easy. So I think challenges inside, outside the gym are going to be pretty fun to do.
When you go to the gym and you're either uh, having the camera in front of you, but there's people in the background, do you ever have people ask you like, "Hey, like out of respect, can you please record somewhere else?" Has that ever happened to you yet?
I don't think so. And even if it did, I get it. I totally get it. It's kind of weird. Even me, like it's weird. Like I'll see someone in the camera and be like, oh, they got a camera out. Like it's still unnatural, I think, especially to a lot of commercial gyms and people. And I totally get it. For me personally, I try to really keep it out of people's ways. But obviously, I have a big old rig, and it can be pretty intrusive. So I try not to make it. And if someone said I'd put it away right away, or try not to just put anybody in there. But there's been definitely people in the background, but try not to make it too crazy. I'm not really one to still really record in the gym, but now I do go to a gym in Iowa that the gym owner is a social media guy himself, so it's awesome. It's a private gym, and that's been game changer.
Are you familiar with Joey Swole?
Yep.
And so, for those listening or watching, Joey Swole is a TikToker, or he posts on Twitter actually a little bit too, and he'll react to how undisciplined and terrible these other people on social media are posting. So, like for example, say you're like taking a video of yourself lifting, and then like the caption is like the people in the background are ugly, or they're staring at me, harassing me when like you're and like none of that's happening, and
Yeah.
Joey will react to that. Do you think Joey Swole does a good job of that?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think other influencers should do the same? Because I do believe people aren't going to the gym because they're scared to get embarrassed on social media. Like, oh my gosh, I don't look good, and like that's me in the background. I look fat.
Yeah.
I don't want to look like that to the internet. So,
Yeah, I totally get that. I know that there's Joey Swole did some stuff in the past, but honestly, don't even care about that stuff. But I do think he does a good job. You can't be the control police of everybody. I think honestly, a lot of people who do that are people who aren't even influencers, which is kind of ridiculous. It's dumb, you know. And for most of the people who want to go to the gym, are thinking about going to the gym, usually the bigger guys in the gym are honestly the nicer guys in the gym. I've learned that throughout all my years of lifting. Sometimes people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, wow, you're really much nicer. Give me way more tips than somebody who's new." For me, the only thing of like recording where you shouldn't is probably like the bathroom, like the locker room. Like if you're like we all know, like men's locker rooms, like you probably shouldn't record in the men's locker room. That's where like you shouldn't record. But other than that, if you really try to get out of the way, and if someone walks in your camera, like You act like someone's gonna see some little, 7-inch foam that's hidden away under some weights. Like, yeah, I don't get why people do that. Never will.
Do you think gym culture can be toxic?
Oh yeah, and it's probably been way more toxic than it ever has. Um, I mean, even I guess some people could say my stuff is toxic, rating people's physiques. Totally get it. And again, it can be super intrusive. I guess people can, even the streamers, they probably could somewhat, get affected by what I post, which is, totally makes sense. Totally get it. But I think it's definitely been more toxic. I think a lot of kids are leaning into things that they probably shouldn't. It's dumb. And obviously, gear has been super big in the fitness industry. Connor probably doesn't know as much as I do with that stuff, but yeah, that it's been super interesting recently, the past couple of years, ever since COVID.
Kind of want to change topics. We can get back to like the internet if you want to later on. If you're watching this, we are in Charlie Caruso's basement, and behind us it says Peck.
Yep.
So share the story of how this whole, I guess, basement workout, in-home workout place just all started.
Yeah, that's a good question. So this it did not look like this, and they probably only see the really good part. They don't see the gray walls, they only see the black. So this really all started during COVID. Like literally all the gyms shut down, and I was like, I need stuff right now. Like right now, blessed with my parents, they ended up, buying all this stuff on the spot. Absolutely crazy. We'll never forget that. But squat rack, everything I really needed. Ended up getting horse mats for deadlift platform, and it kind of just all worked out. And the PEC means two buddies, Preston, Enrique, and then me. Ended up just making like a little drop ship, fitness apparel thing during COVID. Actually did pretty good. Did a lot of stuff on anime, and it doesn't really mean anything more than that, just our names, and thought it was cool and just put it right in the middle. And we were working out. Those were my two guys that when COVID happened, we worked out literally every day. That was the only time I was really working out with people. It was awesome.
What was it with Preston and Enrique that like you didn't mind working out with people, specifically those two?
I kind of gave that 1-2 punch, I guess. Preston would just kind of tell me that I'm being a wuss sometimes. And Enrique it was just like a 1-2 punch. Like I said, Enrique's, way different height. Preston's bigger, and just really worked well with everything. I mean, in the gym, outside the gym, watch Enrique, lift a lot of weight, super small guy. Preston had really good form on squat, and it just, we just push each other. It was simple as that. And it was awesome. I was the strongest I've ever been at that point in my life.
How much longer do you think this will all stay for like as long as your parents still live in Aurora?
I would say I'll probably take this when I move into a house and use it, to be honest. And I asked them, and they said, of course. So I would probably take this with me, this rack and barbell and stuff like that.
So say you buy a house in Iowa, would you bring all this with?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you think you'll buy a house in Iowa soon?
Oh, we'll see about that one. We don't know.
Future will tell.
It will.
Future will tell. I kind of want to go into like people. I really don't know about like. I guess your adversity. I guess I can name one. Just because like everything happens for a reason, and I think this kind of like. Okay, I'll just get straight to the point. When your grandpa passed away,
Yeah.
I remember him pretty well. And I'm assuming that was really hard because he came to all your football games. I remember seeing him and talking to him, and that had to hit home, obviously, unfortunately. And I guess how did you, I guess, keep your composure? Because he died during the football season in high school, right?
Yeah, junior year, right before the season started. So, yeah, that was rough. But I think he I learned a lot, and I think he told me really, everything I needed. It was unfortunate. It was kind of just super random, but just kind of put a spark into me that I think I needed with everything. I mean, I took it to the next level after that for sure. Those were some crazy years in high school. After that, I had some pretty good years, and that's where I really enjoyed the gym. And those were the moments where I like to work out alone. Those junior and senior years, just because just kind of got away, disconnected from everything. But yeah, I learned a lot from him. So that was not a good time, but I think he'd be pretty happy what I'm doing now. So,
how does your family think about you working with like TikTok and ekkovision?
Yeah, so for most people, some parents are don't give like the best oh, don't do this, don't do this. But my parents are just do it. You only live once. If it all fails, I'll just go back to a 9 to 5. It's fine. I personally might be a hot take, but I think 9 to 5 is the most easy thing to do, unless you're like a doctor, something super specific. But I think a 9 to 5 is you can pretty much skate through a lot of it. So I can always go back, and they were always super supportive and definitely supportive now. And they didn't. I don't think they really realized how much money I was making, but they do now. So,
What do you say to the people that disagree?
That
Respectfully.
social media is not a job. Well, definitely is. I've had people do that. I've had people, oh, go make your little TikToks. Well, my TikToks make some pretty good money. So I can't really, I really don't want to, I don't really need to bicker, I guess, with those people because I'm good. I'm comfortable, and I wouldn't change it. So it's cool. I can let them bicker.
How do you deal with hate? Like I guess we'll go back to the internet world now. So, like in the comment sections, you'll probably get like not the nicest comments depending on like what content you post. How do you like react to that? Is there a certain time where someone commented something like very nasty that you took to heart? Can you share some of that?
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty good at disconnecting from that. Honestly, I've really never had a problem with it. I guess I mean, I don't really post like my physique, or even if I did, I guess I'm pretty confident with my own self and not in like a narcissistic way, I guess. But I just, like to post, and that's kind of it. Like, I like my final product, and it kind of goes from there, whatever. I put it out there so anyone can have opinion on it. That's just the way of social media. So if someone has an opinion, good or bad, nothing I can do. So again, I'm not the internet police. So I think out of a lot of people, I'm pretty good at just like, it's just a comment. I never had a bad comment in person, and I probably never will. So kind of just, I'm good.
Let's say you do though. How are you going to react to that? Are you just going to stay respectful as possible? Are you going to be honest as possible? Or
Yeah, I mean, I'm again someone though who, if it's something that I really messed up, I can, really digest that, and if did I make a bad post, or I can self-reflect. I'm pretty good with that. So if it was something like really bad, I can take a step back and usually be like, oh, I messed up. I'm pretty good with that, I think.
do you think internet beef is stupid sometimes?
I think internet beef is all fake.
All right, let's bring up like Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Do you think that's real? Or do you think that's fake?
Oh man, I don't know about that because those are rappers.
Mm-hmm.
They grew up in different ways, but like a Jake Paul, I think all that's fake. All the streamer stuff is fake. It's all fake. It goes viral. It's super easy to get viral hits, and I get it. I totally get it. But, I think a lot of it's fake. 99%.
How do you think about Jake Paul and him doing these boxing matches with like Nate Diaz, and now upcoming is Mike Tyson?
Yeah. I mean, I totally get it. I think, those are one of the smartest guys who really took it to the next level. Super smart. But they, it's a transaction at the end of the day. They're making Mike Tyson money. Jake Paul's making money. So, it could be real in the moment, but for the most part, those guys want to make money. It's a business at the end of the day. So, if Jake Paul's got to take Floyd Mayweather's hat to make Logan Paul a little bit more money, to get a super viral hit, to make more pay-per-view hits, buys, I think it's all fake. That's just, you kind of realize like a lot of these guys, again, even me, like I said, off camera, I'm much different, I guess. Not really that much different, but just a different guy.
I appreciate you saying that. How like off camera you are. I mean, as I know, you are pretty monotone, and then when I see you in these videos, you just get this boost of energy out of nowhere, and I guess I just appreciate you being honest. I love when people are vulnerable and honest, even though this isn't like too vulnerable, but it's the truth. So
Yeah.
You're 230, you're like 5'11", 6 foot.
I think I'm 6 foot.
Do you ever see yourself trying out like MMA or any combat fighting, like boxing?
Oh, no way.
Why not?
I just like my brain as it is. Obviously, for some reason I've been getting a lot of headaches lately. But I did wrestling for, oh my gosh, I did one meet in a junior year, and I just got beat by a guy who was not very good. And I've never played a sport one-on-one like that. And when I stepped on a ring like that, or whatever, a mat one-on-one, it was so out of my comfort zone. It was so weird, and I could never do it. give all the praise to those guys, but that's just not me.
Speaking about your comfort zone, you grow when you're uncomfortable, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, as I say, put yourself in uncomfortable positions. You'll try to be comfortable in uncomfortable positions, but I like to be comfortable. To be honest, I like the pressure, but I don't know. It's kind of a skewed thing for me, I guess. I get it. I get the uncomfortable, but honestly I've really never been uncomfortable in my life. I'll be totally honest. I put myself in. I've been into things that I've been pretty good at. I'll be totally honest. To be honest, like that's just how it's kind of been. Been pretty blessed with everything I've been put into.
How do you find that peace when like when you're playing high school or college football, when you're making like a TikTok, which like is questionable, like, oh, we'll get a lot of hits, we'll not get a lot of hits. How do you how do you balance that or take care of that?
Yeah, so the numbers game can be pretty interesting. Even now, I think that can be pretty addicting. The numbers, this can fluctuate, can make your mood change. I'll be like a lot of people. A bad video can honestly ruin your day. It's just how it is. So learning that, and again, learning to disconnect can be super important. And try not to. If one bad video goes bad, don't think that you're falling off. Just go back. Dissect. What was it, a bad video, or just wasn't what you really thought it was going to be, and kind of go from there. There's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow.
Well, maybe not, but
Every day's not guaranteed.
You're right.
Every day's not guaranteed. It's a blessing to be alive every day. Thank God. So, I guess I'm just trying to think of questions on the spot, like any deep ones, because I want to get in a fun segment later. I guess we can do that right now.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna name certain like fitness influencers, and you give me a one-word description of how you feel about them. So
Oh, man.
all right, starting off with Sam Solik.
Sam Solik, one word. Smart.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Man. Passionate. There could be a lot of words for that guy.
Larry Wheels.
Strong.
Bradley Martin.
I'm gonna have to go smart with that as well.
Okay, how come? Just because
I think that guy has made himself. He has gone in so many directions, and he has stayed relevant for so long in a niche that is so hard to stay relevant in. I mean, yeah, he may not, be so big in the lifting world, but wow, that guy has. I mean, for some reason, when someone gets to that level, they always have to pass Bradley Martin. There's always a video. He somehow just makes it happen. I don't know. Maybe he has a good manager, but he's very smart. He's very smart. People don't give him the credit that he does, that he deserves, because I haven't seen someone stay that relevant and be in so many different niches than that guy.
Eddie Hall.
I'll go strong for that one as well.
I just want to bring up real quick. Pause in the fun segment. How you saw the video of how he just destroyed the two midgets?
Oh yeah,
What do you
I
think
made a
about
video
that?
on that. That's pretty funny. Again, that is totally fake. Like that. Well, because there's a lot of stuff in the past that he was supposed to do an MMA fight with Brian Shaw, and those guys are really trying to make their money. He was supposed to do something with like Dubai, and it just kind of fell through. So there's been a ton of those are super entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, those MMA fights, but yeah, he definitely did have that, and it went super viral.
I was gonna go I was trying to think about. Oh yeah, Sergio Oliva.
Great bodybuilder. That's just simple. Let's just go great with that one.
Ronnie Coleman.
We'll go great with that one as well.
Do you think? Okay, here's my question, because you know a lot about end of the fun segment. So you know how like Michael Jordan and Steph Curry, they changed the NBA, they changed the game of basketball. Is there someone in the bodybuilding or lifting world that changed that culture?
Yeah, I think Chris Bumstead, 100%. Like I said, guy has created his own brand for himself. I mean, that guy is a celebrity. He is a celebrity when it comes down to it. His analytics on Instagram, I might be pocket watching, but I mean, there's no other guy in the industry who just, can just post a video, post an Instagram picture and just, millions of likes in, just a minute. It's just crazy. from just bodybuilding at the end of the day, just coming from that core audience and just created such like a cult. And it's just absolutely crazy how that is. He's changed it. He's changed the game. Bodybuilders don't make a lot of money at the end of the day. The top pros, open, they'll 300,000, but other than that, those guys aren't really making that much money, if they have codes or whatever. But Sebum, he does very well for himself, I'll say that. And that is a guy who's probably changed the game for a lot of people and creating brands for themselves.
Is there any bodybuilders like Sebum or Arnold that you would like to meet in person and like pick their brain?
Oh man, I think honestly, I don't know. I think Sebum would probably be pretty interesting. Other than that, a lot of the guys aren't even really, they don't really speak English. There's a lot of guys, the top bodybuilders now don't really speak English. In the open, sure, but the open guys are still in that sense where like they're still trying to find that brand, you know. But a lot of them don't even, some of them don't even, the top guys don't even speak English. But, Derek Lunsford, he just won the open bodybuilding, that'd be cool, but I don't think he gets it as much as like a Chris Bumstead does.
Charlie, I'm going to wrap this up here in a little bit. I just got a big question to ask. So before I even started it, I was like asking you, like, what do you want me to call you? And you said, don't call me influencer, call me a content creator. I was kind of shocked for hearing that because I'd consider you as an influencer, or at least at some point. And I mean, as you kind of shared, like it's kind of cool having like these people walk up to you asking you like if you're that TikTok guy and how they like your content. Do you think you'll get to the point where you can change someone's life, like have someone like walk up to you like at a meet and greet, like have someone like be like, you've helped me like save my life, and because celebrities get that all the time. Do you see yourself receiving that same feedback?
Yeah, I mean, I've had some guys, be like, "Oh, you've helped me work out and stuff like that," and that's awesome. But like I said, I don't like being called influencer. I guess just because it comes with that connotation. I guess I don't know. I just feel like influencers just. I like I said, I like editing, so I like content creation. I feel like when you're an influencer, you're trying to influence, and I'm really not trying to influence someone. I'm not trying to steer them in a direction. One or two ways. I just like to create content at the end of the day. So, I'd, you asked me after that what I think who I think an influencer would be. What did I say? I think Jake Paul is like an influencer. I think he's trying to steer you in one way or the other. I guess. Might not be a great example, but I think content creation is a great definition for myself.
Any last words to share? Any last words of motivation, wisdom?
I think like we've been saying, we've been talking a lot. You're only on this earth one time. Everybody's living their life one time. Even if they're your parents or your grandparents, and if you want to take that leap, take it, because you'll never know what happens after. You'll never know, and I don't want to be 80 years old and regret it. So that's exactly why I took this leap. But don't take the leap blinded. Hopefully you have some things, stats or something to back you. But enjoying the journey, and that's all I can say. We only live once.
Do you have a next big plan, or just see where life goes from here?
I guess I don't really have a big plan. I just got to keep working hard. There's definitely things I got to improve upon. Trust me. I'm always trying to improve. But just long form, I think, super big, getting in connections with bigger people, collabing, I guess you could say. I think that's going to be pretty big for me. And I don't know, just not trying to switch up, be the same guy I've always been. Simple as that.
What advice would you give someone who is trying to become a content creator similar to you?
Yeah, just start. There's so many people out there who are like, oh, I have this idea. Well, it's just the doing. You have to do it. It sounds so cliche, and I hear so many people do it or say it but it's just the doing. And maybe it's not going to start off so hot, but hopefully you do find what really works best for you. It took me a long time to find what works best for me and what I really enjoy. But it's just the doing for most things. So like you want to lose weight, you got to do it. You just have to do it. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort. A little elbow grease, but you could definitely find a way to do it. Again, everybody says this, but if I could do it, you can do it 100%. It's one of the best things I've ever done.
Charlie, I appreciate you coming on, allowing me to drive all the way over here back to my hometown and interviewing you and sharing your story to Nebraska.
Yes, sir. Let's go fishing.
Hey, let's go fishing. Hey, thank you guys for listening and checking us out. More episodes coming out soon.